July 11th, 2025, Belthangadi, Karnataka, India. A tense crowd had gathered outside the magistrate court. Protest signs, some reading "Justice Now," were held high in the sweltering heat. The air was thick with both anticipation and outrage. Suddenly, a white SUV slowed to a stop outside the court entrance. Doors opened. Stepping out was a man flanked by two lawyers, surrounded by multiple police officers. His presence sent a ripple through the crowd. Cell phones immediately rose in the air as people captured the moment on video. This man was completely shrouded in black, from head to toe. Only his eyes were visible through the slit in his face covering. In his hands, he clutched a heavy black bag. Inside the courtroom, as the magistrate looked on, he opened the bag and began pulling out bones, one by one. Human bones. Then came his statement. "I can take you to more places where I have buried more than 100 people. But I did not do all this willingly. I was forced into it." What was unfolding that day was not just another court proceeding. This was the explosive start to a case that would be remembered as the Dharmasthala Mass Burial Investigation. To understand how we got here, we go back 30 years, to 1995. In the temple town of Dharmasthala, Karnataka, an 18-year-old man, known to us only as Mr. V, landed a job at the famed Manjunatha temple. His role was simple: keep the area near the sacred Netravati River clean. He earned the equivalent of less than $1 a month. But for him, it was a proud start to adulthood. Just days into his job, Mr. V stumbled upon something no teenager could be prepared for: a dead body on the riverbank. In a town where thousands of devotees bathe in the river daily, drownings weren't unheard of. He assumed it was a tragic accident. But from 1995 to 1998, bodies kept turning up, sometimes in the water, sometimes nearby. Each time, Mr. V told himself they were drownings, until the details started to bother him. Injury marks, missing clothes, especially missing underwear. His unease became horror the day his supervisor gave him an order, not to clean the area, but to dispose of a dead body. Mr. V refused. He said the police should be called. The response? A violent beating, followed by a chilling threat. "Do the job, or your family will suffer the same fate." Fearing for his life, Mr. V buried the body. He thought it would be the first and last time. He was wrong. From that point on, week after week, year after year, Mr. V was ordered to dispose of corpses. Sometimes he buried them, sometimes he burned them, always under threat from those who controlled him, powerful people connected to the temple's administration. Patterns began to emerge. The majority of the victims were women and girls, some just children. Many bore signs of sexual assault: rope marks around the neck, beaten faces, clothing missing. Bodies were often buried near the Netravati River, so the wet soil would quickly destroy evidence. Some cases haunted him more than others. One was the charred body of a young woman wrapped in newspaper, doused in diesel, and set on fire under orders. Another, in 2010, broke him further. At a petrol station in Kaleri, he arrived to find the lifeless body of a schoolgirl, perhaps 12 or 15 years old. She still wore her school uniform, her lower half was exposed. Her school bag lay beside her. The order? Bury her, along with the bag, deep in the forest. This was Mr. V's life, week after week, destroying evidence, erasing lives, watching poor men beaten to death. And then came 2014. That year, a young relative of Mr. V went missing. His blood ran cold, and his worst fear was confirmed. She had become one of them, one of the victims. That
was his breaking point. In December 2014, Mr. V vanished from Dharmasthala with his family. He changed his name, his appearance, tried to start over, but the guilt never left. Night after night, he saw their faces in his dreams, the hundreds he had buried. He began to believe their souls would never rest until their remains were given a proper farewell. Fast forward to 2025. Mr. V returns, this time not as a temple worker, but as a whistleblower. He digs at one burial site, uncovers a skull and bones, takes photographs, brings them to a lawyer. The allegations? That the killings and burials were tied to powerful figures connected to the Manjunatha Temple administration. On July 3, 2025, Mr. V was ready to reveal everything: names, dates, burial locations, his single demand, anonymity, and protection for his family. When locals heard of the complaint, the dots began to connect. Decades of missing women, bodies found under suspicious circumstances, nearly 400 potential victims. Two cases stood out. The first, Ananya Bhatt, a medical student from Manipal. She vanished in 2003 during a trip to Dharmasthala. Witnesses claimed they saw her with temple staff. When her mother, Sujata Bhatt, pressed for answers, she was allegedly assaulted and spent 3 months in a coma. She believes her daughter was among the victims. The second, Sojanya, who disappeared in 2012 while returning from college. Her body was found the next day by the Netravati River, bound to a tree, partially undressed, with evidence of brutal assault. A suspect, Santosh Rao, was arrested but later freed in 2023 due to weak evidence. Her family insists the real killers, linked to the temple, were protected by police. These cases, paired with a long history of missing person files and botched investigations, paint a grim picture. Witnesses allege that evidence was planted, DNA samples mishandled, and case files tampered with, all to shield those in power. The Manjunatha Swami Temple's worship is led by Brahmin priests, but its administration is controlled by a single influential family. Some of the accused are said to be within or connected to this family. Mr. V claims to have written down every detail, names, dates, burial locations, and sealed them in an envelope given to a Supreme Court advocate. His plan? If anything happens to him, the truth survives. On July 11, 2025, Mr. V stood before the magistrate in full black, carrying the black bag of evidence. His statement was recorded, his demands repeated. He refused to reveal burial sites on paper, saying criminals might destroy evidence first. Instead, he offered to guide authorities in person. 2 days later, he waited at one site with his lawyers, but the police never came. Then came a stunning breach. Mr. V's supposedly confidential statement was leaked online. A YouTube video containing it stayed live for 11 hours. The police did not immediately investigate. As of July 21, 2025, the case had stalled. From Sojanya to Ananya Bhatt, from alleged mass graves to missing police files, Dharmasthala's dark shadow remains. The big question? Will this case finally bring justice, or will it vanish into dust, like so many others? And what about Mr. V? Is he a brave whistleblower or guilty accomplice?
As of July 21st, 2025, the case had stalled. From Sojanya to Ananya Bhatt, from alleged mass graves to missing police files,
Dharmasthala's dark shadow remains. The big question, will this case finally bring justice, or will it vanish into dust like so many others? And what about Mr. V? Is he a brave whistleblower or a guilty accomplice? Public opinion is divided. Many believe that if justice is truly served, Mr. V himself could face prison time. Others argue that he had no choice. One thing is certain, this case won't be over anytime soon. The allegations are massive. The power structures are deep. And in India, such rare and complex cases can drag on for decades. For now, the Dharmasthala Mass Burial Case remains frozen in uncertainty. Stay safe. Stay close to your loved ones. This is Unique World XYZ Stories. I'll see you in the next one.